Before Lagos became a name on colonial maps, Badagry was already a doorway, opening Africa to the world and the world to Africa. Between the restless Atlantic Ocean and the lagoons of the Yoruba hinterland lies Badagry, a town whose history is woven from migration, kingship, trade, faith, and memory. Few places in Nigeria carry so many firsts, so much pain, and so much cultural depth in one landscape. Badagry is believed to have been founded around the 15th century, circa 1425 AD. Oral traditions agree that the earliest settlement grew around a farm owned by a man called Agbeed, or Akran. The area was known as Agbeed Green, Agbeed's farm. Through time and European pronunciation, the name evolved into Badagry. Originally, Badagry was a fishing, farming, and salt-producing settlement, but its strategic coastal position soon transformed it into an international contact zone linking inland West Africa with Atlantic commerce. The people of Badagry and their origins. Badagry is not the story of one people, but of many streams flowing into one river. The Ogu-Igbo people. The Ogu, also called Igbo, are regarded as the earliest long-term settlers. They are part of the Bi-speaking peoples spread across present-day Benin, Togo, and southwestern Nigeria. Oral traditions link their ancestry to Olyapopo, a descendant of Oduduwa, establishing an ancestral and cultural tie to the wider Yoruba world, even though the Ogu retain their distinct language and customs. The Awori Yoruba. The Awori, a subgroup of the Yoruba, migrated from Ile-Ife, the spiritual homeland of the Yoruba people. They settled across coastal Lagos areas, including Badagry, bringing Yoruba language, religion, and political traditions. Over centuries, Awori Yoruba culture blended with Ogu customs, producing Badagry's unique hybrid identity. Other migrant groups. Refugees from wars in the Dahomey Kingdom, modern Benin, and other coastal peoples settled in Badagry. This made the town multilingual, cosmopolitan, and commercially powerful long before colonial rule. Badagry today stands firmly within the Yoruba cultural sphere, while still proudly preserving its Ogu and Bi heritage. Kingship and traditional governance. The Akran of Badagry. The traditional ruler of Badagry is called the Akran, also known ceremonially as the Weno Aholu. The Akran rules alongside a council of white-capped chiefs, representing the town's major quarters. Badagry is traditionally divided into 8 quarters, each governed by a chief who answers to the Akran. This system blends monarchical authority with communal decision-making, a hallmark of Yoruba political culture. Timeline of Badagry's history. c. 1425, founding of Badagry as Agbeed Green. 15th to 16th centuries, growth as a fishing and salt trading community. 17th century, increased contact with European traders. 18th century, 1720s onward, emergence as a major slave trading port. 1842 to 1845, arrival of Christian missionaries. 1845, establishment of the first mission school in Nigeria. 1863, incorporation into the British Lagos colony. 20th century, decline of port importance, rise of heritage significance. 21st century, recognition as a national center of historical memory. Notable obus Akrans of Badagry. Because Badagry history is largely preserved through oral tradition, early rulers are not always dated precisely, but notable Akrans include Akran Bafo, foundational figure associated with the earliest settlement. Akran Aholu Toyi, influential pre-colonial ruler during Badagry's commercial rise. Akran Daweno Aholu Menutoyi I, modern ruler who helped strengthen Badagry's traditional institutions and cultural visibility. The Akranship remains a respected institution within Lagos State today. Cultural festivals and traditions. Badagry's culture reflects its blended heritage. Major festivals. Zangbido Festival, a night masquerade tradition rooted in Ogu culture, symbolizing spiritual policing and communal protection. Kpakpo Festival, celebrates peace, unity, and ancestral remembrance. Traditional worship ceremonies, honoring deities linked to water, land, and ancestors, similar to Yoruba spiritual practices. Cultural identity. Bilingualism, Yoruba and Ogu languages. Strong respect for elders and chiefs. Rich masquerade and drumming traditions. Coastal fishing rituals and festivals. Badagry and the transatlantic slave trade. Badagry's most painful legacy lies in its role as a major slave export port in the 18th and early 19th centuries. Enslaved Africans from the Yoruba interior and neighboring regions were brought to Badagry. They were sold at markets such as Vlekit Slave Market. Captives were marched to the coast and forced onto ships at what is now called the Point of No Return. Badagry became a key link between African middlemen and European traders, Portuguese, Dutch and British, leaving scars that still echo across the Atlantic world. Christianity and Western education, a turning point. Ironically, the same waters that carried enslaved Africans away later brought missionaries and reformers. Badagry holds several historic firsts in Nigeria. First Christian mission station. First primary school. First story building. Christian missionaries used Badagry as a base to spread Christianity inland. Introduce Western education. Train early Nigerian teachers and clergy. From Badagry, Christianity and formal education spread to Abeokuta, Ibadan, and beyond, shaping modern Nigeria. Badagry's place in Yoruba history. Badagry is a Yoruba frontier town. A bridge between Yoruba land and the Atlantic. A meeting point of Yoruba, Ogu, African, European, and diasporic histories. Its people trace ancestry to Ile Ife, honor Oduduwa, speak Yoruba, and practice Yoruba kingship, yet retain a cultural identity that is uniquely Badagry. Badagry is not just a town, it is a threshold. A place where farmers became traders. Traders became kings. Captives became ancestors of nations abroad. And sorrow gave way to faith, learning, and survival. And as visitors stand today at the point of no return, gazing into the Atlantic, one question lingers in the air like a whisper from history. If this shore once watched millions leave forever, what stories are still waiting to come back home? To watch the full video, click the link on our bio, like and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more interesting hidden historical fact.